town of Ashton Falls was quiet in a way that felt almost tangible. Small streets, neat lawns, children riding bikes after school, and neighbors waving politely from their porches. I had just moved into my little rental on Maple Avenue, the kind of place where life seemed ordinary, predictable. I worked at the library downtown, which was about a 15-minute walk from my apartment, and spent evenings cooking, watching TV, or reading. The first few weeks were uneventful. I learned the rhythms of the town. Mr. Daly walking his dog at 6 every morning, the postman dropping letters at exactly 3:30 p.m., the ice cream truck jingling down Main Street every Saturday. Life was almost comforting in its routine. It wasn't until the end of October that things began to feel off. Small oddities at first. A light in a neighbor's yard that flickered even on sunny afternoons. The sound of something scratching behind my apartment wall that didn't line up with any plumbing or wiring. A shadow I could have sworn moved just beyond the trees when I walked home at night. I told myself it was nerves, being new, imagining things. Then came the night it started. I had fallen asleep after a long day at the library, the hum of the heater filling the apartment. At around 2 a.m, I was woken by a faint noise, a scraping, slow, deliberate, coming from outside. I froze, listening. It sounded like claws on concrete, a dragging movement. I told myself it was probably a raccoon or a stray dog, but the sound was too precise, too calculated. I peeked through the blinds. The street was empty. Nothing moved. My apartment was on a quiet stretch. The nearest neighbor's house was 2 doors down, yet the sound persisted, circling the building, as though it knew I was watching. I tried calling my friend back in the city, but my phone was dead. No signal. Then I saw it. At the far end of the street, a figure emerged from the shadows. Tall, unnaturally thin, moving in a way that seemed wrong, too fast, limbs bending at angles that shouldn't be possible. Its face was obscured by darkness, but the way it tilted its head, scanning, was human enough to terrify me. I backed away from the window, heart racing, thoughts racing. The figure began to move toward my building. With every step, the scraping noise grew louder, sharper, more deliberate. I grabbed the kitchen knife from the counter, my only weapon. The front door was too far. The figure would be here any second. I hid in the bathroom, lights off, body pressed against the cold tiles. Then came the first screams. Not mine, not anyone I knew. Something else. From somewhere down the street, muffled but agonizing. The sound made my stomach turn. My hands trembled. I could hear the figure's movement outside. Slow now, deliberate, almost savoring the panic. Minutes stretched into eternity. I dared to peek. The figure was at the base of my building now, dragging something long and dark across the asphalt. A neighbor's dog, perhaps? Or worse. I couldn't see clearly, but the shape was mangled, grotesque. I wanted to scream, to run, but my body refused. It wasn't a break-in. It wasn't a robbery. It didn't even make noise except for the dragging, the scraping, the occasional wet, sickening sound of something being torn. The figure reached my front steps and stopped. The night was silent again, except for my own shallow breathing. And then it moved again, not toward me, but around the building, as if inspecting, judging, waiting for something I didn't understand. Hours passed. Eventually, I heard sirens in the distance, faint but growing. The figure retreated into the darkness, disappearing between houses, leaving behind the sickening evidence of its passing. I looked outside through the first light of dawn. Blood, torn clothing, and the remnants of what had been living littered the street. Neighbors emerged, faces pale, murmuring disbelief. The police found nothing when they arrived. No trace of the figure, no explanation for the carnage. People whispered about a vagrant, a wild animal, but no one could account for the precise, human-like movements, the intelligence behind the killings. I never slept in that apartment again. Every night, I would hear faint scraping on the pavement outside, a reminder that it could return. And in Ashton Falls, where life had seemed so normal, no one was prepared for it. No one ever would be, because it doesn't make mistakes. It doesn't rush. It doesn't tire. And it always comes for those who aren't watching closely enough. And the last thing you'll hear before it finds you isn't a growl, a scream, or a shout. It's the wet, deliberate dragging of your life ending in silence.